Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome back to the Geek Out Podcast, Episode 2. I'm your host, Brogan, and today I'm joined by quite a few of my fellow peers. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourselves? Gavin?
I'm Gavin.
All right.
Hi, guys.
Man that needs no introduction.
Wow.
You introduced me. So I was like, oh, you introduce yourself, Gavin. I'm like, I'm Gavin.
All right. Well, there was a delay. Anyway, continue.
Hi, guys. I'm Kimmy.
And I'm Alex.
And today, oh boy, today we are talking about some geeky stuff. Let me tell you. Why don't we go ahead and get started today with a nice hot topic that I'd like to discuss, which is, I don't know if you guys have heard, but Google Stadia is trying to make a comeback. That's right.
Oh,
Google Stadia is still a thing.
that's so sad.
Google Stadia is still kicking somehow. They're still breathing.
Wait, so for dummies who are out of the loop, warm me up to what is Google
Yes.
Stadia?
Oh, Alex!
Do you really not know what Google Stadia is?
Yeah, I have no idea.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right. Interesting. Have you heard of cloud gaming? Do you know what that is?
I'm familiar with the cloud and gaming. I
Okay.
can kind of piece them together in my head. But
So essentially, what Google decided they wanted to do was create a platform where people could play video games on the go without the need for a console and a TV.
it's like a virtual box sort of
Essentially, yeah, they wanted to make it so that you could game anywhere on the go. So they host the game from their servers on their end. You don't have to worry about any of the parts. All you have to worry about is an internet connection, and you can play any of the games in their library on your TV or on your Google Pixel phone or your tablet or whatever. So it was this really cool idea that honestly sounded pretty neat. They basically wanted to make it so you could play the coolest, newest AAA games. You could play Assassin's Creed and Destiny 2 on your smartphone or tablet or whatever without needing a high-end PC or an Xbox or a PlayStation or whatever. So that was the idea. However, boy, it failed. It just absolutely flopped.
It was not good.
So where do you even begin?
Here. I know how to
It just
begin.
was a disaster.
Last year, in March, I was a volunteer at Game Developers Conference. There was the Google keynote. The line for this keynote that was already full, and maybe 10 of these people were going to get in, wrapped around the Moscone Center, the North Moscone Center, the big one, like twice. And
A lot of people don't know what
and
know
so-
what that center is, but it's big. It's a big
It's
center.
a gigantic conference
I have no
center.
idea how big it is.
Take our
It was in
local Salt
California,
Palace and
right?
times it by 3. Yeah, no, it's kind of insane. So this keynote is super, super, super like secretive. Nobody knows what's going on. And the CAs that year were like, "Who the hell is orange and purple?" Because there was this orange and purple booth with rocks, and we're like, "What is this?" And then they announced Google Stadia, and we are like, "No way! This can be so cool!" And then it launched, and we were like, "Oh,
And it faded into oblivion.
yeah."
It really, continuing on with a little bit of backstory here, because you really need to know this to understand why it's still just such an ongoing problem. But essentially, I mean, it was a cool idea, but
Definitely
they
cool idea.
really didn't know their market. So in order to play, right, you had to have like the Google Chromecast. Their library of games was only like 18 games. None of them were super new games. The most recent one was like 2 years old.
Can you call that a library? If it's eight, that's a shelf on a book.
It was a bookshelf. It was a
box
game
of
shelf.
books.
Yeah, it was a
single
game
box.
shelf. And to add insult to injury, not only did you have to pay a monthly service fee to even use Google Stadia, but for every game on this platform you wanted to play, you had to purchase the game for a full $60.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That
they really didn't know their market, because if you were a casual gamer, somebody who doesn't want to shell out $500 for the new console or spend $800 to $900 building yourself a nice gaming PC, that might have sounded promising until you realize you're paying like $20 a month and $60 for every single game. All of a sudden, casual gamers are like, okay, that's too money for me. I'm out. And nobody's going to give up their gaming PC or their Xbox One X or their PS4 Pro to play on an inferior platform and pay $60 for a game they already own. Like, so nobody got into it. Nobody played it. Like, they didn't have a market.
Did it actually work, though? Like, was the latency and everything fine?
It was,
or?
from what I saw, I never played it myself, but apparently it was horrible.
That's what I would imagine would be the biggest problem, just making it work.
I mean, you had just to make it run, especially on like multiplayer games, just to make it run at a frame rate that was good enough that you weren't just like sucking. You had to have like the best of the best internet connections. Otherwise, there'd be, like to most people it would seem like a pretty small lag. But if you're playing like Destiny 2, and you're going against other people, like that, half a second to 1 second is going to mean life and death. So it was a nightmare. So anyway,
would that be? Hopefully, them trying to say you should get Google Fiber. Because I
wouldn't doubt it.
Wonderful things about Google.
Well, Google Fiber isn't still a program, though. I'm pretty sure they shut it down like years ago. I don't think Google Fiber is still active.
Google Fiber definitely exists.
It exists, but I don't think they're like adding new infrastructure.
I don't know if they've been expanding.
Well,
You're correct there.
Trolley Square, don't they?
Google Fiber
I have no idea.
is not a place.
Well,
it's a thing.
No, that's where
But it's like they have it.
I'm sure my neighbor is Google Fiber, actually.
It's definitely still active, but whether it's an expanding project is a completely different question.
I hope so.
And I know that there are other companies who have done fiber in our valley. So like Xfinity has fiber, and CenturyLink both have fiber. So it's more based off of the market in your local area rather than blah, 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 blah. So if they're trying to play that you need Google Fiber internet, one, that kills their audience even more because that's a selective audience.
So few people
exactly.
have fiber.
And two, even if you live somewhere that says they have fiber, the chances that like your whole complex is actually wired and built to handle fiber speeds are slim to none. Because if they get fiber to the door and the rest of the building is still run with Cat 5 or Cat 5e from the early 2000s, you're not going to be able to run a gig. You're going to be lucky if you run 100 megabytes.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. And that's not on a shared bandwidth. And there is my really geeky knowledge of how your internet works.
I was going to say,
thanks, Kim.
I don't know.
Thanks, building engineer.
Sorry.
That's just our typical off-topic tangent. For
Anyways,
the
it wasn't
off
tangent. It wasn't
really
off topic.
Actually on topic.
It was the point. Anyways, Google is lying to you if they say that Google Fiber is going to make it better.
I trust Google.
Anyway,
Can't trust Google that much.
Let's jump
I like the
to
colors.
today, January of the year 2020, and Google actually made a Stadia announcement declaring that, surprise, we're not giving up. We haven't thrown in the towel, and we are actually working with developers to get exclusivity rights to games.
No way.
Yes. So a whole new slew
That's
of
going to be
controversy
so
starting.
bad. Okay. Anybody remember our recent controversy over the Epic Store and exclusivity?
Yeah, it's exactly like that, but 10 times worse. Because at
it's
least
Google.
At least on the Epic Store, as long as you had a gaming PC, right, you can still play it, whatever.
Yeah.
With this, you're going to have to invest in an entirely new system to play.
Get this. The exclusive game they announced, Cyberpunk 2077.
No, shut your mouth.
Don't say that. Oh my God!
Coming out
Knock on wood.
2025.
That's the reason they delayed a couple of months. They're working
Let's not
on
talk about that. That's not a good thing.
Oh, I can guarantee if they did that, Google would be burned to the ground.
Oh yeah. There's no way they
would be
survive
destroyed.
that.
They already got rid of Don't Be Evil, though, They could
Keanu
do it.
Reeves walks
Keanu
out
will
and
protect
says,
Do not
says,
underestimate.
"You're all
the
great
gaming
people. So is Google."
There would be riots in the streets.
Keanu
It'll
Reeves'
be
dog
okay.
dies in the
You're
fire,
beautiful.
kills all the protesters.
So they obviously have not dropped any specific titles or names or anything like that because
That just makes me so angry.
But they released like this big like press thing where they basically were saying we're working to make Stadia better, and honestly, there are already other platforms. xCloud, Microsoft's version is killing it.
It's doing great.
They are slaying it.
They're doing the bombs.
Yeah.
It's definitely a cool idea. Like, it makes sense why they want to make it a working thing, but
It is kind of the future of gaming. Gaming on the go wherever you're at.
And that's one thing I have been talking about recently is I don't know if it was with you, but we're talking about this generation thing where everything's on the cloud, everything's downloadable now.
Everything's on demand.
And the kids
So
that
so
was
nice.
the last
I love
podcast,
it.
right? Where I talked about how we're outdated, and basically us as a generation are boomers because I love having discs for my games.
you're
yeah.
crazy.
We did
You're
talk about
crazy.
this.
Who wants all that clutter? Like, it's so
Me?
nice just having it all digital.
Because
I do.
I'm glad I get to be the opposing voice.
No, we want you to pay for this all over again. They literally just take away your access to it.
Exactly.
You're like,
See? But here's the thing, is that is boomers talk. Look at the last podcast, but you'll hear this whole discussion. That's us as boomers talking.
Yeah.
Well, the chance of them actually removing our exclusivity without, justified reason. Like, if we hack into it, they can take it away. But
Yeah.
are any of us really hacking?
No.
Besides maybe Kimmy with her knowledge of Wi-Fi? No. So
Kimmy's over here. I'm hacking into the main
Ethernet.
thing.
So here's the thing: is us as the what would I call us? Millennial boomers. We're like no.
I think it's just millennials.
I need
but
my desk. I need my disc so I can have a library. That's my thought. I think it looks cool.
You know what? I have so few games that are actually digitally owned. My 90% of my library is actually discs.
I bought cases for the games I have bought digitally just because I
What?
want them. Like
You
PUBG.
bought a case?
Yeah, PUBG.
No, that's weird.
Cuphead. You ever just been like, man, I don't know what I want to play. Let me just look at my library.
I think I own
Oh, yeah.
one physical game, and that's like
Alex!
Smash Ultimate, and that's just for posterity. But I also only play like online multiplayer sort of thing,
Oh,
so I'm a little bit
yeah.
different
I will
audience.
say
Like,
it
I don't
is-
really play the
And
story.
it will be different for PC. I will never buy a physical copy of a game for PC.
Yeah, that's
Oh, yeah.
true. That's a
But you
good
will buy a
point.
case for it.
I will not buy a case for it. No.
Yeah, he's got a case for Roblox and
Roblox.
Of
and
course, dude. The
KFC
Roblox
dating
case looks
sim.
dope, dude.
Minecraft dating sim. Yeah.
he had one custom made
Real life?
just for the KFC dating sim.
Heck yeah.
It's all about that mashed potatoes,
Gavin,
dude.
Go.
I know how it is.
It was a pretty poppin'
Gotta get you
stream.
some extra
So.
crispy.
I went and got KFC afterwards. It
Get
was
that
not as good
original
as the
flavor.
image. But yeah, I that's crazy that they're trying to revive it.
They're trying. Emphasis on the word trying.
Trying.
I don't know how well it's going to succeed, but
Well, Google, I support you in a lot of the projects you do, so best of luck.
We all know they're
if
listening.
you wanted to help me out and get me a free Pixel, I wouldn't mind. But yeah, I support you.
Yeah.
you know what? If they could get their business model together, I might actually give it a try. But at the moment, give it a couple months, and I'm gonna be investing in xCloud, not Google Stadia.
I just want them to put "Don't be evil" back in their slogan. That's all I ask.
All right, Alex, why don't you why don't you take us away?
So
Get a
Alex,
nice-
tell us how are you not evil?
How am I not evil?
Yeah, what anime
Well.
do you watch?
Anime.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a terrible discussion. I haven't watched anime in a minute, but
Okay.
I need to catch up on like Hero Academy and.
Okay, I just got current on that yesterday, by the way.
Oh, nice.
The new season.
I was reading the manga, so I wasn't sure how far the manga was.
It's
I haven't read it in
pretty
like a
spot
year,
on.
but
I haven't read
What
the
is happening
manga.
right now? Where have we gone?
I have to figure out.
talking?
What's
Yeah.
happened?
this is now the Weeb wave.
I'm lost.
Yeah, we have to. I gotta know if he's evil or not. So. But if he watches My Hero, you probably.
He
not
seems
evil.
aight. He
And I
seems
need I need to catch up on the webcomics for One Punch Man too. I think some new ones have come
You know,
out. but-
you can totally join everything anime. You mind if I add you in that Slack right now?
Go for it, dude. You just got to change it to Weeb Wave, you know?
I'll see what I can do. I'm gonna see. Because Everything Anime is pretty nice, by the way. For those listening to the podcast, please check out Everything Anime. First episode's coming up soon. But no, I like the
That
title,
was-
Everything Anime.
Wow. Literally went all monotone. For those of you listening to
Self-marketing.
this podcast, please check out
I know.
Wow.
You should see me on the stream. I'm like, I'm eating Taco Bell, but I'm not saying you should go to Taco Bell. But like, damn, this is some good Taco Bell. I love Taco Bell.
Gotta get that crunchy gordita, dude.
I'm liking this guy more and more as this time goes on. No, but yeah, Alex, what do you want to share with us this week?
Oh, yeah. So I got a topic. So I like to play Smash. Not sure about you guys. Know we have the Smash tournament going on. So
I smash.
I figured, a Smash topic would be fun. So I believe it was last week, Nintendo announced the newest roster final character for the first
yes.
Fighter Pass. The one, the only Byleth from Fire Emblem, and was met with not the most warm of welcomes from the fans of Smash, the community of the Smash. The main reason for that was because, Reggie, the good old guy from Nintendo who no longer works at Nintendo, but he had said when the Fight Pass came out, like, this is only going to be characters you wouldn't expect to be in Smash Brothers, some new ideas. Yeah, exactly. People thought it would be like these new sort of characters from new franchises, especially like third-party franchises, which we got Joker, right, who's from Persona 4.
That
we
is
got
right.
Hero from Dragon Quest. We got Terry
that
from...
was crazy to me. Hero from Dragon Quest.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That blew my
that's a really
mind.
cool one.
Even though I'm not a big Nintendo fanboy, and in fact, when you mentioned Fire Emblem, I was like, oh great, this is two topics I don't know what we're talking about. But I saw that, and I was like, that's cool. Good job, Nintendo.
Right?
Because I don't know anything about Persona 5. I've just watched my friend play it. It looks fun.
Yeah, I did the same.
But
That's cool.
and I was like, that's so cool that they're including Persona 5. But yeah, even though I don't even know anything about Fire Emblem, I saw that they announced a new Fire Emblem character, and I was like, I don't even know what's going on, but I can tell everyone in the room is pissed.
Oh, yeah.
Like-
Everyone is super pissed. Because, yeah, it's just another sword fighter, right? And her moveset, his moveset, their moveset is pretty unique and everything, right? It's a little bit different when you actually see people break it down. But, yeah, it's kind of a little bit of a rehash. But the interesting thing for me about it is... it, of course, relates to the new DLC coming out for Three Kingdoms, which is where Byleth is from, right? And you can actually see a spike in the sales for Fire Emblem Third Kingdom,
Of course.
right? And it's all as a lead up.
That's
So-
the worst play ever.
Right,
Worst play
right.
ever.
That's kind of what I want to bring up. Is like, what do you guys think about companies kind of using one game to support kind of another one and to support kind of the bottom line of the company? Like, is that really super ethical? Have you seen other instances of this happening?
When you've promised your consumers that that your product is going to deliver something new and different, and then you turn around and put one of the most used franchises back into the game just to promote an upcoming DLC to that franchise, that is BS. It was no go for Kimmy. Brogan's a designer. Let's see what he thinks.
Yeah, I am torn because I always, I'm an artist, and I always kind of, I lean more towards the side of artistic expression, and the developers should be able to kind of develop whatever they want, and if they want to add another Fire Emblem character, fine.
That the developers.
Hold on.
Really? Come on, it's a AAA studio.
Kimmy, let me finish my argument here before you start shooting the messenger. So I believe the developers should be able to make what they want to make, but at the same time, there's got to be a line. You can't. I don't want to call it like an advertisement, but when you put it that way, like, it really is kind of an advertisement for the new DLC coming out. You know what I mean? Like, at this point, I believe the only two franchises that have more of a representation in Smash is the Mario franchise, and I believe Pokemon, but don't. Yeah,
There's definitely
in
less
this-
Pokemon.
In this,
because there are now 8. There are officially 8 Fire Emblem characters once Byleth is released.
Is there more Super Mario? There's what?
I might actually have to
Two
look it up and do the math
Luigi.
here.
yeah.
Bowser.
I do want to say this though.
I think there might not be 7
When
Mario.
you said Reggie, I was like, tell me Reggie Rock, Reggie Ice.
I forget his last name, but Reggie. He's got a name.
Unfortunately, he is not talking about
Pokemon Gen 3. I know.
Nope. I wish I knew
But-
Pokemon more. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Ooh, I'm the resident Pokemon master.
He's
Ask
We'll call you
away.
Ash.
Ash, yeah. Ash Ketchup.
One time, Brogan was able to identify like 12 Pokemon in a row by the sound, and only.
And we're not talking about the anime where they literally say their name. We are talking about the in-game sound where they're like, "Wah." Like,
Oh, this is what's really big.
and I'm like, oh yeah, that's Marowak for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Honestly, if you do that to me with Gen 1, I could probably do it Gen 1. I don't know if I
Gen
could.
1 is actually one of the hardest
I
because
know.
all the
Yeah, because they're
sound
8-bit
sounds.
They all
And they're
sound
like
the exact
2-bit.
same. The other day when I was playing, I was like, God damn, these all sound the exact same. But I was like, but I know each one by heart because of how many times I've run into
Right.
them.
You
Maybe not the
know-
legendary birds, but
You know, when you're running around trying to find something, or even just trying to get through a tunnel, and you know the second that you run into a stupid Zubat,
Zubat, I know.
and it just screeches, and you're like, no.
So jumping back here, it looks like Fire Emblem is now tied with
Mario.
Pokemon. Pokemon has Incineroar, Greninja, Jigglypuff, Lucario, Mewtwo, Pichu, Pikachu, and Pokemon Trainer.
So 8.
So 8, and which means that Fire Emblem is now tied up with the only one having more being Mario, which makes sense because that is like the flagship
Yeah.
well,
franchise.
they
for
don't have
Nintendo.
Wario, so I don't know how
They
much
have
I-
Wario. They don't have Waluigi.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, they don't have Waluigi. Sorry,
Which-
sorry.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure they're just holding out, and
Yeah.
I guarantee Waluigi's going to be in the next set of DLC.
He better, dude, because
That's also not something.
That actually wouldn't be a bad first character for the new Battle Pass.
Or you know,
What I want them to do is make it the last character in the next battle pass, so they string people out and leave them hanging, and everyone's like, it's not gonna.
But the thing is, they want people to buy it, right? So they have to get people hooked right
that's
away.
fair,
That
that's
was actually a big argument for why they probably released Byleth now as opposed to like as the next one, because nobody would have got the next Battle Pass if they was just
Waluigi was in it.
another Fire Emblem
all I'm
character.
saying, all they need left from this third-party access is Shaggy,
Shaggy
Scooby Doo.
and Minecraft Steve.
Yeah, the Minecraft Steve is up there. A lot of people are saying like Sora, Dante. Those are kind of the most popular.
I don't
but
think we'll ever see them. I don't think we'll ever see
I hope
those.
not. I hope not.
I don't know. Sora would be kind of lame. Just another sword fighter, basically, right?
Yeah, no, we want the fist fighters. We want the fireballs.
I will be honest. I'm a little salty that Sans was included as a Mii fighter. I'm a little salty. Like
Yeah.
Byleth should have been Sans. Like
People were really
Yeah.
even though like I haven't played Undertale. My sister loved it though, so I know everything about it. But I remember seeing Sans, and I was like, "Oh, that's cool." And then I was like, "Oh."
everybody. If you watch reaction videos to the announcement, everybody thought Sans was going to be the new character.
Everyone was. Oh man, I just love all the reaction videos. It's like the same thing with Nintendo announcing all the Ghibli films coming to Netflix.
Oh yeah,
What?
which
Did you hear
that's
that?
true.
All the Ghibli films are coming to Netflix,
Oh
but
my god.
We'll talk about that in a minute.
it's for every country except for the U.S.
Wow.
It
Yeah.
will- so it
I almost stopped
Cuckiness.
at that farm.
But what makes it even better
That is
they
Not cool.
So yeah, people were pissed because they were like, Netflix announces all the Ghibli films are coming to Netflix, and then it was like ... except for except for North America. But it's already happened, so all the other countries in the world have the Ghibli films, but people in Canada and people in Mexico also have the Ghibli films. It's just the U.S. But here's the thing. So I was doing some research because
People say the U.S. is the greatest country on earth.
well, here's the
Not
thing.
without
says that?
not without the Ghibli films.
Here's the thing that I found was really interesting. I was reading through the comments, and like, you know, of course there were people that were pissed, but then there was like people from Norway. They were like, "Do you know how hard it is to find like anime content? It's so hard to find it here." And I was like, "That's weird." And they were like, "Do you know how expensive it is to buy a Ghibli film in Norway?" I was like, they were like, I can't remember how much it equated to, but it was really expensive. Like, it's certainly more expensive than it is to buy it here. And it blew my mind. They were like, we don't have access to anime in Norway or like in Australia. And Australia actually has pretty good access.
Why?
But I don't know. But like I didn't want to message some Norwegian person on Facebook, but I was just like, it's so interesting. And there was other people making the same claims. They were like, "Thank God this has happened. This is all I've ever wanted." I was like, "Oh man, this is some weird dreams you guys have." But like, I mean, yeah.
That's
so if
so
you're
crazy.
if you're listening from outside the United States, please watch some Porco Rosso. Some
Howl's Moving Castle. That's like my favorite.
I'm a big Totoro fan.
Totoro is really
Like
good.
everybody
But
is.
yeah, well, I know. I didn't want
Kiki's
to hop on the
Delivery.
bandwagon,
Kiki's
but the more I
Delivery.
watch it,
That's
Oh
okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Spirited Away, of course.
Spirited Away. That's the first
Of
one
course.
I ever saw. The first Ghibli film I
Yeah.
ever saw. And gosh, like I don't want to say I was like traumatized, but it certainly changed me. I was a changed boy.
That's how I feel about Totoro. After I watched Totoro, I don't know. The two girls remind me of my sisters. So whenever I see them, I'm always like, damn, I was a terrible brother, and I miss my sisters.
Aw.
I always like call them up after. It'll be like 3 a.m. I'm like, you guys doing okay? They're like not answering. I'm like, this is because I was terrible.
Oh.
But yeah, so I love Totoro, and or Castle in the Sky. Castle in the Sky is one of my favorites. Visually stunning.
There
Or
are so many
Nausicaa.
Ghibli films that
They're
I
all-
recently
mean,
realized
they're
I have
all
never
great.
seen.
I know there's a ton, and you
I
want to
need to
watch it
see
from
'em.
Hayao Miyazaki. You don't want to
Mhm.
watch his son stuff. His son stuff's okay.
His son made stuff?
See, but
Yeah.
Mary and the Witch's Flower is a Netflix original that was done by his successor, not like
Not his son.
not his son.
Yeah.
The studio disbanded, and then a lot of those people created a new studio, and they created a couple of movies. And like Mary and the Witch's Flower looks so much and is so much like
So I tried to watch it, but I hated it.
really.
I hated it so much. So
I
I mean,
liked it. I
well,
didn't
I'm glad.
love it,
I couldn't get
but
into
was,
it.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's another studio that's been making its way. They did Your Name, Weathering in
Oh,
You
I love
with
Your
You,
Name
just
so
appeared in the
much.
U.S. So I'm kind of dominating the anime conversation.
No, you are our resident anime guru.
But so I just
take
watched
it and run
Weathering
with
with
it.
You,
Resident Weeb.
and it was lovely. I made a post on Reddit on the Weathering with You subreddit, and I got trending for a little bit.
Oh my!
Oh.
Yeah,
Look at you.
You didn't tell us you were famous.
Not quite. I just barely got Reddit, but I felt cool. Just every time I looked at my phone, it was like, you got so many upvotes. I was like, this is cool. Usually I only get one or a downvote, you know.
Or a down vote.
So
I feel
it was
bad.
just- but it was just honestly just with my expertise in English, I was able to make like a fine call, and everyone's like, "That's pretty smart." I was like, "I know," but it's really good. It's kind of a complicated film, and if you're gonna watch it, I mean, I recommend it just because it's an excellent and visually striking film. But also, after you leave the theater, you're not gonna know what it was really about or how to feel about it.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I left, I was like, I can't tell if it was really good or really bad. I'll check the reviews. Oh, it says it's good. It must be good.
That's not how that works.
No, I'm just kidding. But no, it took me like a day and a half to process it. And I was like, wow, that was a stunning film.
And your name was kind of like that for me too, honestly.
And there's actually an Easter egg in Weathering with You where the characters from Your Name are in there in Tokyo. Did you watch Weathering with You?
I haven't yet.
No, I would check it out. But yeah, there's an Easter egg. I didn't see it, but
Do you have to go down to like what do they call it, like the Hollywood or whatever, the Broadway? That's what it's called, right? Is that where you have to watch it, or is that most of the theaters?
So in all Cinemax theaters, it was you were able to watch it in all Cinemax theaters over the last weekend.
They got
Friday
rid of it
through
now.
Sunday. They do that about once a month, depending on the film.
Yeah, I know I see all the Studio Ghibli in there and stuff.
Yeah, so it's pretty nice watching these films that you wouldn't normally have been able to see on the big screen. Sometimes it's worth it, sometimes it's not because it's a little more expensive. But it's pretty great.
Okay, maybe I'll have to get into the animes.
Yeah. I recommend it. It's pretty good stuff.
I have really only ever gotten into two anime series ever. Last Airbender.
Okay,
Not anime.
Okay,
It's just a cartoon.
You know what? It's
Great.
it's
Amazing.
anime-ish. Okay, all right.
Wonderful
Yeah,
show.
I'm not trying to shit on you. I just want you to know. Don't call it anime.
It is to anime
animated,
what
I
Taco
guess.
Bell is to Mexican food. Okay,
That's an insult.
it is the Americanized version of anime. That's what. Okay. Anyway, and One Piece is the only other show
One Piece is
that I've
good.
ever.
How far did you make it onto One Piece?
Oh boy, let's see.
Get past episode 100.
Yeah, I'm
No,
very curious.
no, I'm pretty sure I made it past episode 100. I made it to like 100 something, and I was like, oof, all right.
Yeah, no, I'm brilliant. And
Yeah,
so,
I know.
Since you don't watch anime, I am so genuinely impressed that you
Mhm.
made it past episode 100. I made it to episode like 4, and I was like, yeah, because I look at it, I was like, this has 837 episodes, and because it's still continuing. So I was like, I'm not.
It's nuts.
It's the longest.
It's the
running
longest
series.
running anime.
Yeah, and I was like,
Crazy.
yeah,
It might, it might be series.
I think it is the longest running series because it's the most.
More than DBZ?
I think.
Oh, that's a
Because
good
Well, I
DBZ's
haven't
had so
seen-
many redos.
It's basically over. This is something new coming out every week
Mm-hmm.
It's
for
true.
the past 15 years.
Yeah, pretty much.
I don't know. But
It's like the Doctor Who of anime.
yeah. I look at it and I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna start this because I know for a damn fact I will not be able to finish this.
My friend did also try to get me to watch Assassination Classroom.
Oh,
I believe
that
is
one's good.
What it was called.
I don't like.
It's got
it.
the octopus.
But
Love it.
but he only had access to the subbed version.
Yeah, I was gonna say for new anime viewers, it's hard to watch. Some.
And we watched about 3 or 4 episodes in a row, and I literally started to get a headache. I couldn't
Yeah.
do it anymore.
Yeah.
I just couldn't do it anymore.
And yeah, so just try and watch dub.
So I
Just
mean,
watch sub when you're ready. or-
I'm sure he was just pulling it from some sketchy site or what. Anyway.
Well, if you just so you guys do know, if you guys want to get onto Hulu, and this mic doesn't even work, but just so you know, if anyone wants to get into anime, Funimation and Hulu partnered up not too long ago. Once was it Crunchyroll split up? I don't
Probably.
know.
Also, if you're a college student and you have access to Spotify, you also get Hulu.
Yeah.
Oh. Is that the added
Life
version of Hulu?
hacks.
Yeah.
Geekwave life
Yeah.
hacks.
So I recommend it because even some of the new seasonal
call this a
shows
live
that
hack
just barely
podcast.
started streaming
Fruits
are now.
Basket was going up
Yes.
like episode by episode this
Yes,
season, except it only had half of it.
Well, that was it's
was
Fruits
depressing.
Basket. I'm glad you watched it though. But yeah, just so you know, there's Funimation and Hulu teamed up. So if you want anime, some of the new seasonals are on there anyway. So anyways, yeah, that's my bit.
I don't have anything. How about you?
What the heck, Kimmy?
I told you I didn't have anything.
All right, we are going to sit here for about 5 minutes in silence
No.
in memoriam of what Kimmy was supposed to prepare but didn't.
Correct.
Oh, sick.
I was
Well,
too busy letting Alex know the
we'll
date
just
gonna say something.
I mean it's a little out of season, but we'll just take a couple minutes to remember 9/11.
You're a dick.
Those are 3 of my favorite numbers.
2 of them are the same number, Alex.
That's how good one is, dude. Gets on there twice.
That's fine, Kimmy. We'll let it pass.
Okay.
We'll give you a pass this time. But if it happens again, you're fired.
You can't fire me. That works the other
We'll
way
see.
around.
We'll see about that. Anyway, let's
to be
talk a little bit, shall we? Because I feel obligated to discuss this topic. Has anyone heard of Temtem? Does anyone does that word ring any bells with anybody? Gavin,
Yes.
I see you smiling over there.
$35 on Steam.
Mm-hmm.
Did you buy it?
I didn't buy it. I thought it was free to play, and I was
thought it
like,
was free
"Here
to
we
play
go,
too, 'cause I was
January 21st."
I was gonna stream it, but
Yeah.
now that I realize it costs something, I actually went to
Mm-hmm.
email the developers to ask if I could get a pass.
Oh, that's not a bad idea.
It's
That's not a bad
probably
idea.
a little bit too late, but I don't know. It's blowing up. I've only seen the previews of the game, but I haven't seen any actual gameplay.
So somebody want to tell us what the heck this game is?
No, I really don't. That's it. That was the whole
yeah.
discussion. No, just kidding.
Temtem is just saying the word tem twice.
Yeah.
And it's like kind of like a cultural icon for most people that have played Pokemon. Do you know what's your favorite Pokemon, Kimmy? Is it Pikachu?
Do tell,
No.
Kimmy. I'm interested.
What is your
I
favorite
don't
Pokemon?
know. That's a really hard question.
All right.
really-
No, the correct answer is
let's actually
Charmeleon.
Explain what this is while Kimmy's thinking about her favorite Pokemon. Okay,
Okay.
We'll give you your time to shine,
That's
Kimmy.
not gonna work. I'm just gonna come up with more Pokemon that are
So
great.
Temtem was a Kickstarter project.
I didn't know it was Kickstarter. That's fantastic.
It actually did originate as a Kickstarter project. It was a couple independent developers that loved Pokemon. They loved the Pokemon franchise, and they wanted to make their own kind of spiritual successor to Pokemon. So they made this game Temtem, where you catch creatures in these little like card disc things, and surprise, surprise, you use them to battle, and they evolve.
Yeah.
Sorry, they don't evolve. What do they call it? They use all these different terms that are like almost what Pokemon uses, but aren't at the same time.
The e-bulb.
They evolve. Yes.
I'm just kidding.
They
I don't know if
evolve.
that's the correct term. But
was like,
you're like,
really?
wow.
No, but
But this is different because unlike the traditional Pokemon games, it's MMO?
it's MMO. That was kind of the big selling feature. It was this massive multiplayer online. You can get on with your friends and you travel this world, and you have your Temtem that follows you, and you can run up to people and trade with or battle with whoever you just see in the overworld, which apparently is quite a bit larger than any of the worlds that we've ever seen in a Pokemon game.
I would
From what I
imagine
hear.
if it's an MMO, I would pray that it's a little bit
Have to
bigger.
be.
Wait, does
Yeah.
that have any connection to like the Pokemon Online, Pokemon MMO
I would not
stuff that had come out
imagine so.
before? Because I knew it was all like
It's an entirely
Individual
separate
people, but-
IP. From what I understand, this is the first project these developers have ever worked on.
And
so.
I would say
Are
it's
we gonna get-
impressive.
Sorry.
No, go ahead. What are we
Are
gonna
we
get?
gonna get actually creative monsters/creatures?
I-
Not
I
like
I do want to
ice
say
cream in the shape
Hey,
of
you know what?
floating
You know what, Kimmy?
or garbage cans.
Vanillite was a fine Pokemon.
I will say
Only
this
to
though.
you.
Yeah, I'm not. But it is because of those Pokemon I stopped playing Pokemon. Bro.
Yeah.
You know
I
what?
don't.
What about
Some
that
of
lantern
Some
one?
of us appreciate all of them
Yeah,
just
the
for what they are.
But I will
I was
say
done by Monkey Pokemon number 4. That's when
there's
I
a lot
was
of
done.
monkeys out there. Kid.
There's only a couple.
But
let's see.
just real quick.
Apom, Mankey, Primeape.
Okay, you can't include evolutions
Okay.
as
Well,
a
so
separate.
there's
Apom,
Apom.
Mankey, Infern,
All right.
Ape, and his whole evolution, the new one from Sword and Shield.
Okay, so 4
Look, there's
total.
4.
All right.
That's not even keeping going.
That's bananas. Yeah, I will say, because I haven't looked at any gameplay just because I was pretty bummed out. I had to spend $35 on it.
I was a little bummed too.
I watched the trailer a few times because I just wanted to remind myself. I will say the Pokemon look like the Kmart version of Pokemon. So hopefully, I hope
Out of business.
I hope the gameplay looks fine, and it looked fun. But yeah, I was like. So imagine there's Bulbasaur. These guys would have blah blah blah, you know.
So I have actually watched quite a bit of gameplay, and surprising enough, I've actually seen some. I mean, it probably doesn't mean anything to anyone else, but I've seen some pretty big name competitive Pokemon players. Who have won actual national awards and stuff in Pokemon competitions play the game to see how it is, and most of them actually say it's a really good game.
That's exciting.
Mechanically, they're like, this is a great game. Some of the character designs, I guess, are really janky, and the online was just at least for the first couple days, was super super rough, just because they were trying to handle these MMO servers, which is.
At least it's Pokemon. It's not like the lag's gonna affect you too much.
Yeah, it's true. But apparently, mechanically, it was a a lot of fun.
I'm happy because Pokemon's had a monopoly on this kind of genre for the longest time, and now the shooter genre is getting oversaturated. So hopefully, we'll have some variety in a Pokemon game where we can look at it and be like, which Pokemon games or which, I guess, Pocket Monster games are coming
I think
out.
they call them. They're starting to call the games. It was creature collection games or something.
Yeah. That sounds about right. So it would be exciting because as a struggling college student, not struggling in school-wise, but struggling financially, I look at all these games that come out. I mean, last year wasn't anything to, really shiver about. But you look at all these games coming out, especially when they're, like 4 or 5 games on January 19th. That was happened in 2019. And you're just looking at it, you're like, wow, which ones can I afford to buy? So, last year I looked at it and there was Jump Force, Sekiro, Thriller games came out the same day, and you're like, wow, which one do I want to buy?
Yeah.
So, I made the poor choice of Jump Force. You guys made the right choice of Sekiro. So,
True.
But I am playing Sekiro now, and it's wonderful. Jump Force
It's tough,
is rough.
but it's a great game.
Yeah. Oh, another game that I was excited about, but instantly got taken down by Disney is there was another fan-made one. It was a Star Wars game. It looked a lot like Mortal Kombat, but it had popular characters like Ahsoka, and of course you know that.
Oh, Disney's gonna destroy.
Oh
that.
yeah, so I was like, it comes out this day. The second I went to look for it on Steam, because that's where it was supposed to go, gone. It was that day.
That is
gone.
so sad.
But so they showed gameplay of it, and it looked wonderful. It looked so fluid and good, and it just kind of proved that you can have a nice fighting game with Star Wars and not have to
But Star Wars Battlefront 2.
No, what about Jedi Academy? Come on. That game was the bomb.
Jedi Academy.
It's the game where Anakin comes in while you're training to be a Jedi, and
That is not ringing any bells.
Oh, it's like a lightsaber fighting game. Yeah,
When
it
was
was.
it
It was like
released?
original Xbox.
yeah, it's
shoot.
a long
It was so
time.
much fun. I had such a
Yeah,
I
blast
do
with
not
that.
remember
Oh my
that.
gosh.
I remember a super old Star Wars fighting game. It was called the Masters of Terras Kasai, and it was back on the NES or something like that. Anyway.
Wow.
But yeah, I never got an opportunity. I guess I still have the opportunity to play Temtem, but I never had an opportunity to play this Mortal Kombat Star Wars game. It
Darn.
looked so good.
Well, one of two things was bound to happen with Temtem. Either it was just gonna suck and it would have just been swept under the rug and forgotten about, or it actually would have been a fairly enjoyable game, and it would have given Pokemon and Game Freak some competition, however small.
Do you think it's close enough to Pokemon that they'd have to worry about any sort of copyright trademark sort of things though?
I don't think so. As long as they don't use any of the same names. I mean, they're not even called trainers. They're called tamers or something.
Yeah, I think they're called tamers.
They have crossed their T's and dotted their I's. They are making sure that they are
And
safe as can be.
I think, honestly, ever since the whole Fortnite and PUBG predicament, I think copywriting something like that would be too difficult now. I think Fortnite and PUBG laid the model of you copy the formula, right? But
But I mean, PUBG wasn't even the original, right? It was
exactly.
Battle Royale,
Yeah,
the Arma 3 mode.
Yeah, so that's the thing is I don't think, unless it's directly, like you said, copying names, as long as you have the same formula but just different names, I think you should be okay.
Different content.
Yeah,
Is the
content.
word
Yeah,
we're
so
going
instead of
for.
Pikachu, I think you're fine to have a Pakachi,
Uh-huh.
an electric.
Is it gonna be orange and purple instead of yellow and
Electric
brown?
Yeah, instead of an electric mouse, it'll be an electric rat.
A Pookachi.
A Pikachi.
But anyways, when are we gonna get a Digimon?
I think there was one.
Yeah, something just happened with
there-
Digimon. I can't remember.
I don't want some horrible Digimon remake. I want the original 1990s.
I never understood Digimon. I never
put
understood.
in
So
a video game.
when I played Pokemon,
There were
I was
fighting games
super
with
into it.
them, for sure.
But I don't know why, but
Digital
yeah.
monsters. Yeah,
something about Digimon was also just so much more organic about, I guess that I'm thinking about the animated series, because let's face it, Ash is
Oh,
Ash
It's
is
weird
ass.
that he's still 12.
Ash is still
It should have
10.
died 10 years ago.
Hey, but that's because there's magic. It's a real
Didn't
thing.
Misty and Brock like grow up, but Ash is still a kid
Yeah,
or something weird?
Ash is a still kid.
He's got like the Benjamin Button disease or something.
Well, there's magic. I can't remember. Nintendo came out
Celebi or
and
something
talked
like
about
that.
it.
I know that literally that Celebi was created to combat that at some point. But I
To
know
make
it
Ash
didn't
immortal.
Yeah. So,
Ash is literally God
Yeah.
in Pokemon.
So,
No.
but yeah, the Digimon
Hey,
characters
guys.
were so much cooler. The only thing cool in the Pokemon TV show was Brock and his ability
Yeah,
to
dude.
Brock?
pick
He
up
can see
women.
without opening his eyes. It's
I
insane.
know. And
No way.
that, and I mean, let's be honest. Oh
Misty
yeah.
and Togepi was where it was at.
Oh, let's face it.
Heck yeah.
I was all about May. May as a kid was my bae.
I know Wobbuffet's pretty hot.
And then okay, so sorry,
Kimmy, you never told us
Yeah,
your
I was gonna say,
favorite
Kimmy, what
I-
was your favorite Pokemon?
Okay, can I
Pikachu.
No. It's really difficult.
Bulbasaur.
When I don't know. Favorite starter would be Blastoise.
Uh-huh.
Favorite
Good
Gen
sound starter.
1 would be Cloyster.
Cloyster.
Right? Isn't that weird? I don't know why. It's just like
interesting.
I've always liked Cloyster.
No,
And
wait.
Horsey. Those two.
Those are so that's those are,
I know I like water type, and I usually end up playing grass type in games, which is weird,
Interesting.
right?
now, Brogan, what is sorry, let's just go around talking about our Gen 1 favorite
Oh,
Pokemon.
it's so
Gen 1?
hard.
Gen 1.
We're
I
limiting it to
guess
Gen 1?
I guess so list your favorite starter and your two other favorite Pokemon from Gen 1.
Just from Gen 1?
Just from Gen 1. Do you know what Gen 1 is? Because you're repeating it a lot.
Let's see here. I'm pretty sure.
Do you know what Gen 1 is?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
I'm Gen Z. I know everything about
Oh.
Gen.
Are you Gen Z?
I don't know.
What year were you? Never mind. No, right now.
What's the last four of your social?
I was gonna make that joke. I was like,
Middle name?
Mother's
Mother's
maiden.
I was always a Squirtle boy myself, just because I thought Venusaur was super lame and Charizard was way too overused.
Thank
and he
you.
still is to this
Thank
day.
you. He is.
He now has like his fifth version of Char. Anyway, that's a different topic. So I've always been a Squirtle boy. As far as my favorite two other Pokemon from Gen 1, definitely Arcanine.
Okay. Interesting.
And oh boy, let's think here.
If you say Dragonite, I'll be pretty upset with you.
No, it wasn't Dragonite. I always thought Dragonite looked too derpy.
Thank you. I thought so too. I was like,
Yeah.
that's a
What
dragon. That's
generation
stupid.
did Togepi get evolution?
Evolutions.
Togepi was released in second generation.
He got
Togepi
evolutions
wasn't
in
even a
Gen
first
4.
gen
Really?
Pokemon, yeah.
Yeah.
When does Misty pick up Togepi?
Very end of well, it wasn't
Because
the
I
very
guess
end,
he
but
hatches.
it was during season 1. But they've done that a few times where
Yeah.
they will kind of like introduce an interesting Pokemon from,
Yeah,
from a
like,
previous generation.
Like they did with what's the new Pokemon from Pokemon Go that's in the next gen?
Melton.
Melton, yeah.
And they did it with Bonsly.
Yeah, they did it, yeah.
Okay.
Anyway,
But
second
he got
one
evolutions in Gen 4, just so you know.
Okay.
Sorry, I just
is going to be...
I have limited knowledge and I want to showcase it.
Oh boy. Oh my gosh.
So you said Arcanine,
Yeah,
so you just got one more.
I know. It's a tough one.
Squirtle, Arcanine, and
It's probably... Honestly, it's probably Gengar.
I was
Gengar's
feeling
pretty
I was like, because I was
Gengar
asking
fan as
myself
well.
this, and I was
Yeah.
like, would it be Gengar? I was like, probably not.
As far as Gen
I
1
think
goes,
Gengar is so cool,
Mhm.
but I was always so pissed playing on my Game Boy, not having friends, so I couldn't trade. I couldn't get him. So I was like, I would train my Haunter to level 60, and then I wouldn't have a goddamn Gengar. Well, Alex, you said you didn't play too much Pokemon?
I mean, I played like Gold and Silver, and I don't think I played the original like Red and Blue, but I played like Fire Red, when that came out
That's
and
okay.
stuff.
That's still
So yeah, I got
Gen 1.
an answer for you.
Yeah, give me your.
Admittedly, some of me is biased because my online handle is Burn, so I am a little bit.
And
I do like the
that's
fire
fine.
types, but
Okay.
Charizard right now.
no. So my favorite starter is Bulbasaur, but the best Pokemon in Gen 1 is my boy Charmeleon.
Okay.
Now, interesting pick, but you look at the anime, the one Pokemon who gives Ash a big middle finger, does his
that's
own
true.
thing.
That is
It's
true.
pretty great. He's like the rebel Pokemon. I've always loved that about
Or
him.
Charmander with his tail and then
Basically getting almost
Yeah.
extinguished every
Left for
episode.
dead.
depressing.
But so
and then Charmeleon's like
Exactly.
so
this guy.
what is your third favorite?
Third favorite?
Mr.
And this is a hard one. I was thinking it because I was gonna say Scizor, but I believe he's Gen 2.
He is
if
Gen
I'm not
He's Gen
mistaken.
2, yeah.
Yeah,
Scyther was Gen 1.
yeah, and Scyther's pretty cool, but he's no Scizor,
It's true.
That's true,
That's
yeah.
Steel type.
I was gonna say the
Yeah,
Steel
it goes a long
type's got
way.
my
I
heart.
do think there is a Steel type in Gen 1 though, isn't
There's
there?
Magneton.
Technically, when Gen 1 was
When
released,
Gen-
there was not.
There's
It wasn't
not.
until Gen 2 that Magnemite and Magneton received the Steel type. They
Yes.
were just Electric type.
Yes, thank you. Look at that.
Mhm. Telling you, man.
Because
Anything.
I was like, can I be
Dang it,
broke
man.
into this? I like I said, limited knowledge.
Right?
I want to
I
showcase.
thought Steelix was Gen 1, but obviously not. He
Steelix
must
is
be
Gen 2.
too.
You have to
So
get
then-
you get him post game when you get the Iron Coat.
And then hopefully
Showcase.
I believe this character's in Gen 1 then. I always liked Golem.
Golem is.
Golem
I've
was
always
a
thought
good one.
Golem was a
You do
baller.
have to trade for him. So again,
Golem was
Yeah, I
a
my
never
level
had him.
66 Graveler.
Golem was a beast.
But okay.
I just love the way he looks. The big old ball.
Yeah,
arms coming out.
he's
It's
such an
great.
interesting design. And did you guys ever play Pokemon Snap on the?
Oh,
did not.
of course. Pokemon
Bro.
Snap was the bomb.
He was one of the secret ones. You had to take a picture of a rock, and he's like, "What's up?" And then you
Surprise! I ain't no rock.
then you get a nice picture of him. So yeah, sorry.
Oh my gosh. Pokemon Snap. Pokemon Stadium.
See,
The gold cartridge for Pokemon Stadium.
oh my
2.
God, yes.
Oh, yes. I
See-
still
I
own
that
that.
game.
I still have my
See,
Nintendo
that's why I'm
64.
getting so upset about these Pokemon games. I would love, especially with virtual reality, love a Pokemon Snap game.
Like
Yeah.
a Pokemon Stadium or Snap, like both.
If there
both
was,
of
yeah,
them.
if they
Oh my gosh,
remastered Pokemon
imagine
Stadium,
playing-
I would totally buy a Switch.
Heck yeah.
Like absolutely, like I said, that was the
make like a Pokemon fighting game pretty
But
recently.
Pokemon Stadium isn't necessarily a fighting game. There were like the mini games that you could play
yeah.
in
Well,
the challenge modes, and then there were like stadium battles, but it was literally like you were a trainer with your own set of Pokemon.
yeah.
And you had the option to train up and build your own Pokemon or use the straight whatever.
I
right?
loved using the randomized Pokemon you could get. that was exhilarating. That was the adrenaline rush my 6-year-old needed. You play against your friend and they're like, "Yeah, you can't beat me in my team." I'm like,
Yes.
"Let's see what the random gives me."
Then you can have an excuse if you lose,
Oh, maybe
in that back
that's why I play.
Can you imagine putting on a VR headset and feel like you're standing in a Pokemon stadium?
I feel like
and
you are a Pokemon.
throwing a Pokeball and having a majestic Blastoise pop out and
Good.
Yeah.
annihilate your opponent.
Yeah,
It's all like Detective Pikachu style.
bro.
Yeah.
You know, it'd be so.
Pretty dope. Ryan Reynolds
How
narrating.
about throwing my Ekans at throwing my rings at the Ekans,
Oh my gosh, I hate
Oh,
that.
I was like, that was in
the
a stadium.
Ekans game.
Or trying to
Oh.
figure out when to click A for the Magikarp to
Oh,
to
I gotta figure it
bounce.
out. Half-Life 3 with Pokemon. That's what it'll be. It's already
Oh,
VR.
There's that VR Half-Life game.
It's Half-Life 3.
They announced that it's done. They announced it was done yesterday.
What?
Wow.
Wait, what?
Half-Life 3.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey, dude, all I'm saying
Uh-huh.
is for a VR game that's not just something like, like a side game like what was it, Beat Saber?
Mhm.
Like those side games are really fun. But I will say that Half-Life 3 looks so damn good.
Hold up. Did I miss? Is Half-Life 3 a thing?
Half-Life
Yes.
Alyx.
Okay, it's Half-Life Alyx. It's not Half-Life 3.
But it is Half-Life 3.
It is
I mean,
Half-Life
it's a
3.
continuation of the Half-Life story.
Like that trailer where
That's debatable.
where he's
Anyway.
like throw the mag in, it's not loaded, and he throws you the gun and it pops off, it like lands in front of you and shoots. I was like, that feels like Half-Life to me. That's enough for me to call it Half-Life 3. It feels validated.
Anyway,
It's the best Half-Life 3 we're ever gonna get if we're being honest with
that's
ourselves.
probably fair. That's
Yeah,
probably
I think that's
fair.
We
probably.
gotta take what we can get to this point.
Yeah,
It's been a minute.
Yeah, if we ever go an episode of this show without discussing some Pokemon, I feel like I will have failed my job. Anyway, to wrap us
So we
up,
call it the Pokewave.
Pokewave podcast. To wrap us up, I've got a little fun tidbit of information for us all. Have you all heard about the plague going on in China?
Oh, the
Coronavirus or whatever.
Yes.
And there's like 2 people in the U.S. with it, right?
Oh shoot, it's coming! It's happening.
The coronavirus.
Yeah.
Like my favorite kind of
hold
beverage.
on. I'm no scientist.
Virus?
What is it called?
Gotta add some lemon.
No, it actually it's called the Chinese coronavirus. That's what it's
So
called.
okay, well, what is this Chinese coronavirus?
It's a virus. It's in China.
What did it start with? It had to be animal-born, basically.
Something happened, and people were like, "Ugh, I'm sick," and then they started
It
dying.
was weird
and-
though. They said
People
there's
are
only like
dying.
500 cases of it, right?
Yeah, except China's notorious for lying about that kind of thing until it's completely out of hand.
That makes
They
sense.
have actually shut down and quarantined an entire city
of like 11 million people.
of 11 million people to make sure it does not spread.
That's
And
crazy.
I think I had heard recently they shut down neighboring cities as well, if I'm not
I
mistaken.
wouldn't be surprised.
There are also international flights are being, you have to get checked.
It's kind of crazy. Anyway, just on that topic, a little fun fact for everybody. Steam decided that they were going to have a cool Chinese New Year sale, and they put Plague Inc. on sale for the Chinese New Year sale.
Oh.
Oh.
Bad timing? Maybe.
Well,
Anyway.
I can't be mad at Steam for that.
Yeah, we
But-
can. Anyway, that's going to
China
wrap us up
deserves
for
it.
the week. We're going to end off on an interesting note. I don't know how I feel about it, but let us know. I don't know. Interesting choice. Anyway, thanks for joining us today, guys. Be sure to follow us every week. We do the show every week. Go check out our YouTube channel. Go check out our website. We've got all kinds of crazy cool stuff going on there. And we'll catch you guys next time.
Geek out.